So in this video I'm going to implement the rotation of this camera around this target object. First I'm going to hide the background. Actually, let me just delete it. This is sort of annoying to watch. This camera is the basic simple capturer. I added this orbital movement, and then I enabled should move in here, and then I selected my target object as the focal point, which is CM1, this model's name, CM1. Next in here, I turned on should move. You can define the rotation speed. I'm going to use 10. Here you define yaw. For my object I'm setting it to 0 to 260. Right now I do not want the pitch rotation, although even if I set this to 0 it doesn't really work. Let's set that to 0 to 0. Let's focus only on the rotation, the yaw rotation. I don't need this right now. Okay. So as you can see, it is rotating around the hand in 0 to 260 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to do it in pitch. So I think both have to be on, as far as I remember. Yeah, both have to be on. So this is the main center control, I guess, and you can define pitch in here. So I need minus 90 to 90. So I can set this to 0 and see what happens. It doesn't change. So basically you have to set that the initial one in here as well, otherwise it won't work. But the problem is that I only want to focus on the pitch right now, so I will set it to 0. Now you can see that it is only changing the pitch. It's not doing it's not changing the yaw. Okay, another thing for this is, so I'll right now turn this off entirely. Although I will turn it off, you will see that for some reason it still changes the pitch, but it does not change it continuously though. So next I'm going to focus on should change the distance. For me, I'm going to use this thing from 50 to 300 and increment of 50. So now you will see okay, still changing the pitch. I have to set this to 0. Sometimes it's a little bit weird. Okay, now it's perfect. As you can see, the range, I think it sort of changes randomly. It sometimes moves forward, then suddenly moves backward, suddenly moves too much forward, like it's going right now. I don't think it's sort of a cycle. I think it's random. Yeah. Okay. But all this thing, as you can see, that it tries to keep the hand in the center. In here you do get in here the hand in this position, but still it usually stays relatively in the center. So this one has also a very nice feature which is called wiggle. So I'm going to turn off this one and change distance, so it will be a constant distance, but I'm going to change the wiggle, so basically the camera will shake. So this is a random movement of the camera, but you can see how the pen is now jumping around all over the scene. So that sort of helps to avoid any sort of biasness, avoid adding any sort of biasness in your data set, in my opinion. So with this, I'm going to turn on everything right now to show how it looks like, but I'm going to turn off wiggle, otherwise it's very hard to see. So I'm going to set this to 10, I'm going to set this to 10, I need 0 to 260 for me, and this one from 90 to 90. I'm going to randomize pitch after every rotation. I have to turn that on, because for some reason if I don't do that, it doesn't work properly. Let me actually show you that what I'm talking about. As you can see, it's only rotating the hand in yaw, but it's not changing the pitch, and it doesn't matter if it completes the entire rotation. It will not change the pitch. Basically the pitch stays the same. See, it changed it restarted yaw shift, but it didn't change the pitch anymore. So for some reason it doesn't work if I do not turn this on. Now it will work. As you can see, the pitch just suddenly jumped. So in this way, continuously I will get the pitch and roll rotation difference, I guess. Now if I add, should change distance as well. Not really good data set. So there is a lot of randomness. I can also add more randomness when I start wiggling the camera in here, but I'm not going to do that now. There is a if I turn this option, by the way, then it's sort of more randomness in the data set. As you can see, it jumps around quite fast, and you can sample locations pretty much randomly, different distances, different raw pitch and yaw. Okay, so yeah, that's all about using orbital movement for in NDDS, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, thank you very much.